outside flight.
Ooh,
You
sorry.
know, it's oh, no worries. It's only 2, it's only a little after 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. So I know it's late over there on the East Coast, but yeah, so I used to practice law. I didn't like it. I was looking for a way to get out of the practice, and I wanted to quit my job. I had $100,000 in student loan debt, so I wasn't able to do that. My husband was like, "No way, you can't quit. You have to help me pay off your student loans." So I was looking for something else, and we got into real estate, and that's how we became initially financially free, and we were looking for passive income, and so we did it. Now we did it in a very different type of way than what you see on TV when you see Flip Those Homes and stuff like that. And it was very difficult, and I wouldn't recommend it for most people because I think it's a little tough the way we did it. And we didn't have a mentor or a coach or anything like that as well. But we were able to pay off all my student loans and then have enough passive income through investments that it covered all of our living expenses, which were pretty minimal, I think, at the time. And we allowed our assets to buy all of our liabilities. So we allowed our rental income to cover all of our mortgage. We ended up buying a house for about $1.5 million, and it was paid for by our assets. And so we've just been able to build. After that is when we started our business. So we became financially free first, and then we started a business that was helping people pay off debts early. And then we had the opportunity. I created something called the Income Snowball, and we're not going to talk about that today. We'll save that for another time. But I got a patent on that calculator that helps people create passive income, even if they don't have any savings, if within an average of about 7 to 12 years. And that's been exciting. And we've been in business for about 20 years now. And it's been exciting. So, yeah, so I just really wanted to cover today, the 3 pillars of wealth, and have you and I talk about that to the group.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is like I said before, how possible this is for people to really accomplish in their lives. And it's just a matter of creating a plan and having a strategy around it and taking action and getting it done. 7 to 12 years is not a long time. A lot of times people think it's pretty long, but it really flies by so quickly. I'm sure you can attest to when you created financial freedom, that wasn't that long too, right? Did that take a long time?
No, that took us less than 2 years, right? To be honest. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was a lot of work, a lot more work than, the type of thing we do now, but it was worth it. Right. And it was before I became 30. So you can probably guess my age now. I just gave it away.
But you look great. So age is but a number, girl. Age is but a number. So let's jump into talking about the secrets to how billionaires create wealth. The 3 pillars you wanted to touch base on today were cash flow, arbitrage, and leverage. I'm sure everybody knows about cash flow. That's probably the most familiar thing they're hearing right now. But go ahead and talk a little bit more from your perspective about what cash flow is, what it does, how it gets created.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. I mean, everybody knows that cash flow is important. Everybody knows they need it, but most people don't have it. I mean, right. Yes, it's kind of strange. And I think the reason why people don't have it is because they have money going here, there, and everywhere, and because they probably, in a lot of cases, have a lot of liabilities that are taking money out of their pocket every month. So cash flow, it really is, the net of what you take in and what goes out. So if you're break even and you don't have anything extra from your job or your business or whatever it is that you're doing, then, you can still you might be able to do some of this, but you're going to have to do a little bit of work first. If you spend more than you make, that means you're dipping into savings or you're getting into debt. You're using credit cards to pay your bills and stuff like that. Not a good thing. And if you're positive, that means you have extra and you're either applying that to debt or you're putting in savings or you're doing something with that. And we can show you a better use for that, but cash flow, it feels like, when I talk to the vast majority of people out there, they don't think it's important as long as they have a steady paycheck. Some people, not everyone, but a lot of people will spend every single dime because they know they're going to get another check in in a week. Right. So, so they have no cash flow, zero cash flow. And I see this a lot with, especially, with some young people. I see a lot of them though, now they're like, no, you know what? I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30 to 35. So those people are really, really conscious of, I need to have at least an extra 500, at least an extra $1,000. And if you, that may seem difficult to do, but if you are, you heard of The Millionaire Next Door, right? Have you ever heard of that book?
Yes.
So that one had a big impact on me. I want to tell you kind of something that I think people find interesting, because a lot of people are very into things and status and, I want this nice car, I want this nice Tesla, I want this nice house, and all those things are good. And you can have all those things. But what we did it the opposite of the way most people do it. We were renting from my dad, my husband's father, my father-in-law, for $1,000 a month. So we had a 3-bedroom house that we're renting from him for $1,000 a month. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but it was cheap. We fixed up the place. We would put in new appliances and do all that kind of stuff. We took care of it, right? Because it's Chris's dad's house. But we had no car payments. Our cars were paid off. We had no student loans. We had no credit card debt. We would pay off all our credit cards in full every single month. So we had no bills, except for eating out. So, when we started to make money, our cash flow was huge.
Right. Because it wasn't going towards debt.
That's right. Because we had no debt. So, one of the things that we did differently was we were renting and we owned buildings. So we owned 2 rental buildings, and we were renting where we lived. And we didn't have fancy cars. Our cars were, at the time, it was I had a 1989 Volkswagen Fox, and then I got rid of that, and we got an MDX, and I think that might've been new. Acura. And then my husband had a 1987 Mustang. Okay. Really well taken care of. He takes care of himself.
Yeah. Those are vintage.
Shiny. Yeah, it was nice, convertible with, all that stuff. But it wasn't like, you wouldn't have known that we had the money that we had based on, how
you were living,
rolling around in a Mercedes, we weren't doing any of that. So because of that, we were able to then buy the $1 million house and buy the Tesla and do all that, and really not have to worry about our job or our business paying for it. Like if business was slow or our job was slow or COVID happens, you get laid off or something happens, we didn't have to worry about any of that because we had enough passive income from our investments to cover all of our payments on the stuff that we bought later. So we bought our liabilities after we had our assets pay for our liabilities, the Robert thing. So
what I'm hearing you say is it was worth the wait, right? Because a lot of times, and I've done it. Don't you've done that, right? Where you buy the house, you buy the car, and then you got to work crazy to maintain it. What I'm hearing you say you did was you stayed renting lower payments, took your time, bought the investment property while you were renting, which is a great strategy, by the way, because usually investors will tell you, or, most people will tell first-time buyers to buy in like a multifamily, live in one side, let the rent pay your mortgage, right? But it sounds to me like you did it a whole different way, where you bought buildings, which made your cash flow even, more juicy, like way up there.
Totally. Yeah. The cash flow on that building was ridiculous. It was, Yeah, it was ridiculous. So, but the reason we did it that way, it was a nice place. It was comfortable. I was actually pregnant with our first child. We lived there for the first 6 years of our marriage. We were renting from Chris's dad. And so it was almost like a duplex. It was a house that he converted to 2 separate units. So the upstairs is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and the one downstairs was like 2 bedrooms or something. So somebody was renting downstairs. I think it was Chris's sister, and we were renting upstairs. And so anyway, we were really comfortable with that, and it was fine. I mean, as long as it's not something, you don't want to be living in something, that's crazy that, has, it wasn't anything like that. It was a nice neighborhood and everything, but we knew, and it didn't take that long. Like I said, we actually ended up buying that house maybe we ended up buying our home that we live in now, that we've been in for more than 16 years. We bought that 2 years or 3 years after we achieved freedom. So we wanted the freedom. That was the most important thing. I needed to get out of my job. I was really miserable. So that was, once I was free, I was like, we can do whatever we want.
Exactly. Whatever it takes to get what you want. That I love it. I love it. I love it. So cash flow, pretty clear. Strategy around it, pretty clear to me, at least. So hopefully if people are watching this afterwards and they have questions, they can connect with us. So let's flow right into arbitrage and what that means and what it does in terms of strategy.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? I don't normally use the word because most people don't know what it is, and it sounds scary, but I'm going to explain it in a really simple way. Arbitrage is like, suppose you own a convenience store and you go to Costco and you know that you can buy a box of Snickers bars for $10. You're going to take those to your convenience store and you know that you can sell them for $20. That's arbitrage. You're taking advantage of the fact that you can get this for a low amount and you can sell it for a higher amount, And so people know all about that. When you're at Costco, you see people, going through with their big carts with like boxes and boxes of like candies and stuff. And you're thinking, what are they doing with that? Well, they probably have a convenience store and they're going to sell it. They're going to mark it up and sell it for double or triple or whatever, what they bought it for at Costco. Everybody understands that. Everybody says that makes sense. And yet, so what investors do is they take advantage of price differences. They take advantage of the cost of things being low on one side and being able to make more money on the other side. And this is huge. So when we were investing in real estate, we even took advantage of arbitrage. But I think for a lot of people, because you need so much money, so much down payment typically to buy a rental property, they think arbitrage is out of reach. Well, there are ways to do it with little bits of money, much smaller amounts of money. And making money, not just one time. So when I use the Snickers bars example, right? I was actually doing this with my daughters, Lorna. You met my daughters, you met my girls.
Yeah. Beautiful girls.
Thank you. And they're 16 and 13.
Are you teaching them the stuff? I love it.
I totally do. Long time ago, actually, my 16-year-old, she said, Mom, could you teach me the Income Snowball? I was like, wait, what? I don't think you understand it yet, because you got to understand some of these other concepts. But now she's old enough. She's 16. So I sat with her and I said, Krista, so I gave her this example. And I said, so if you take the $10, you go to Costco, you know that you can buy this box of Snickers, turn around and sell it for $20. Is that a good investment? She said, yeah, you doubled your money. I said, exactly. Now I'm going to mix that with the leverage component. And I said, what if instead of taking your $10, what if you could, increase your buying power by using a credit card? Instead of buying one box of Snickers, you bought 4. So you bought $40 worth of Snickers bars on your credit card. And you can sell those $40 for $80. You can sell all those Snickers for $80. Would you do it? And she said, yeah. And I said, and you're going to take the 80, you're going to pay off the credit card, right? And you're going to end up with $40 left. And she's like, yeah, and of course. So then I said, so then why would you use your $10 if you could do that? If the bank's going to loan you the money, you could do that, you know? And she said, yeah, I would totally do that. And then I said, well, okay, but what if instead of buying Snickers bars, what if you could buy investments that could keep paying you? Not just one time, like once you sell the Snickers bars, you can't get any more money back, right? You'd have to keep reinvesting that extra 40, which is fine. But what if the first investment, almost like rental property, you could buy it and it would just keep paying you for a number of years, like 2 years or 3 years. And what if you could keep doing that? And she was like, what? I said, that's what we teach. That's the income snowball. She's like, Mom, is that legal? I'm like, yeah, it's like, I was like, I'm like, come on. I'm like, you know, we've been doing this for, 20 years. So yeah. So
love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. I know you just blew somebody's mind. They probably have to re-listen to what you just said. I remember when you said it the first time when I heard it, I'm like, what? I mean, I'm like, yeah. And then she said, yeah. So I hope you guys will rewind and listen to this again. And this is good, powerful stuff, guys. Powerful stuff that the wealthy are using that you're not. And we're bringing it to you. So anything else you want to share? Because we got to wrap up. This is just a sneak peek. We want to invite our audience to a longer webinar next Monday at 8 p.m. pending any, we're going to make sure the technical difficulties are out of the way before 8 p.m. And, but if you wanted to share anything else, Tanisha, that would support them to make a decision to join us on the webinar to learn more details about the Income Snowball and how they can create wealth and retirement through the Income Snowball. I'm doing it for myself. So I'm introducing you to this because I'm doing it. I'm not introducing you to something I'm not doing. So
that's right. Right.
Please note.
Practice what you preach.
So.
I think the main thing is, you have to do something different, right? You have to realize that you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And if you feel like you never have enough cash to buy a rental or do any of that kind of stuff, what's nice about what we're going to show you at the webinar is that you don't need any savings. You don't need any savings at all, not one dime, just a little bit of extra cash flow. That's it. And we'll show you how to do this. My calculator is what I have the patent on, which kind of details some of this stuff. But what's key is there's always risks in investing, right? And there's always risks in leverage. And that's the reason why you really have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to identify good investments, and you have to know, you should be coached on how to do this stuff. So.
Right. Well, like anything else, right? Anything else that's worth it in life requires a good coach.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for the webinar, super excited for what I'm going to achieve through this program, for the legacy I want to leave for my son, my grandson. So I'm happy you're here, girl, and so happy to have met you. You're
me
a
too.
blessing, total blessing. So thank you for joining us today. And again, we'll be on Facebook Live again next Monday night. That's the 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where Tanisha is going to bring the whole kit and caboodle to you. So come, bring your friends. This is something that is not taught anywhere. It's not taught anywhere. Tanisha has a patent on this, and I'm telling you, she'll show you examples of her clients who have been doing this and who, started from nothing with nothing and are now financially free, and they have income to cover and exceed their expenses just from this type of investing. All right. Thanks, Tanisha. Love you, girl.
Yeah, love you too. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. I'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.